Kωνσταντίνος Φιλιππίδης is President of the Association of Active Youths of Florina and the Rapporteur of Theme 1. Thank you. And Cristina Suchala is from Planeta Petrilia and Rapporteur from Theme 5. Well, thank you all very much. I know we're leading off the discussion of these three blocks, so we have a challenge to really get people involved. But that is going to fall, Konstantinos, first to you to report back from us from your thematic session, which was on regions in post-industrial transition. Tell us about that and also weave in a little bit of the story of your own projects and experience.
Thank you so much, first of all, for this invitation. I'm really happy that I participated in a very, very interesting panel with people that know where they go, know where they come from, and how they will lead the innovation, development to the future that we need. And of course, people that believe also in the European unity, in the dream of the Europeans that we need for the future. As you said before, industrial transition is not something new. As Mrs. Mihalun from OECD explained during the session, it's something that it started with the invention of the wheel and it keeps going because today it's becoming more complex to address and more urgent. And we know all that there is an urgency to make changes into our life, especially in regions that are right now in an industrial transition and generally former economic powerhouses. Today, they may face, as we know all, lower income, insufficient growth, and of course, higher unemployment. They may also face social pressures as brain drain, as it happens also in my region, and of course, lower well-being. If transition is not news, so why it is then complex and urgent? It's complex because of the uncertain environment, as we know, COVID-19, climate change, the aggression of Russia in Ukraine, inflation, and other kind of crises like today that we have. It is urgent because the growing territorial inequalities and declining trust in governments also, especially in regions with long-term economic decline, residents that feel that they are not part of the dialogue, they are not part of this development, and of course the regions are going behind. To top it up, the lack of trust in government's impact, democratic outcomes, and makes transition even more complex. Our speaker, Mr. Mikulic, State Secretary of the Ministry of Regional Development of Croatia, Mrs. Demolin Snijders from Minister of the Region Limburg, the Netherlands, Mr. Ripi, Lapland Governor, and me, as founder and president of Association of Active Youth of Florina from the region of Western Macedonia, Greece, and of course, Mrs. Mihalun from the OECD. We all aspire that our economies flourish and former industrial sites are put back to life. Croatia has chosen the smart specialization path, as it say, put money in those areas where we can go faster. Lapland's approach is to put funding into innovation and research, including in mining, and to build collaboration for sustainable value chains. Limburg, on the other side, in particular, transitioned from coal mining regions 50 years ago to a region with a knowledge-based industry, in particular in the bio-based and circular chemical industry. At the end, my city, Florina, in Western Macedonia, a region depending entirely on the infrastructure and the power plant economy, is the first Greek city that we would like to do, that we would like to transform it, to transit it into a city that will 100% depend on the renewable energy future. This transition all depends on political will, for sure, strong governance structures, and above all, social inclusiveness. Because people matter, and many policymakers must first listen with empathy to their people's needs before they decide what is best for those people, we need to give first space for thoughts and dreams. This is what people from Western Macedonia say. Because, for example, in Limburg, we learned that a hard lesson during its 50 years transition. Back in the 70s, it was the policy that focused on the miners, disregarding the impacts on families and the well-being in the region. This is understandable as at the time there were very few women involved in policy formulation or implementation. This led to less attention to health, education, overall well-being of the families affected. Today, it's crucial to involve the broader household, gender mainstream, and the community as whole. Limburg's aim is an all-inclusive policy where everybody can participate, because it puts people are committed if they own their results. But how to involve people? This is a very, very important question. As Western Macedonia experienced it, not all people are convinced by environmental policies. For example, we have not persuaded yet the citizens. How do you change the mindset at fast? Limburg's experience shows that people need to see the global picture. And Lapland believes that nothing is more convincing than seeing the results, whether at home or somewhere else. People need to know, and we need to know what is there for them. Communication is the key aspect. And to this point, I would like also to express what happened during the presence of Commissioner Fερέιρα 2 years ago in Western Macedonia, where this presence from a strong European official was the beginning to get and to engage young people into this dialogue. And I would like personally to thank you for this, because you did a great, great job on that. And of course, we would like to welcome you again when we'll have the opening of the youth center in Greece. Yet, the most difficult to attract not every business, but the right business in the region is also a question. The one that will be sustainable and will stay once public support funds drain, based on Limburg's past experience. What is important is to show that there is a potential business case by improving the broader business environment, upskilling the workers, improving the logistics infrastructure, so as not only to attract business, but also to keep the business on track. And Lapland will say yes, but where are the results and good examples? How do we make people, business, research, and government equitable partners? Both Limburg and Lapland have a lot to share from their experience. But having the right partner is not enough. In addition, there must be the right policy, the right strategy, the right governance structure, and above all, the right implementation. And that is challenging as well. One of our speakers was very frank. If I might be honest about implementing different policies at the EU level and the national levels and the regional level, where everything is implemented, it is a mess. Croatia, on the other hand, is trying to bridge all these complexities at the national level to accelerate the transition, but it's not easy. There seems to be a mismatch between policies and funding possibilities, which hampers further implementation. And the key here is implementation. As one speaker put it, if you have a policy and you do not use it, you should not have put money into making the policy. So, are there solutions? Those come loudly and clearly from the panel. Listen with empathy. Simplify to make clearer and more consistent the rules from the EU down to the regions. align funding to policies, allow for experimental governance, which gives you the opportunity to test something in real time and know how to adjust, and keep on collaborating. In all of it, do not forget to commit the people, because the risk to failure is spread as everyone is assuming something in the ownership. If I may summarize the reason in a couple of words, those words will be people, policy, governance, and collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Konstantinos. That was quite a lot for you to distill into the time left. Some good insight, I think, because I want Konstantinos to join in as well. Christina said that it helps to feel seen. Do you think there's something more that we can do to help regions feel empowered to take these steps?
First of all, to be here, it means that we are in Europe, for sure. So, secondly, to represent a region that is right now one of the first regions in transition after the Green Deal, it's also a huge opportunity to represent people from our region. So it's obvious that something is happening, something that 10 years ago nobody expected, let's say. And the old-fashioned policies that existed regarding what the European Union is doing and how good are the national policies and how good are the national politicians, this right now, let's say, it's undercovers this lie, for sure. So right now, the thing that we have to do is to have more Europe in the regions, more Europe with the civil society organization, with association like our organization, and of course to support what's the problem in our region. There is a lack of dialogue and engagement of people in this kind of dialogue, and I think that good examples through this also event and through other events, dialogue events, should be done more and more in our regions and in our cities. So this is what we need more, because I think that the funds and everything are in the right place, but they need to be, how to say, would be given to the right people, to the right policies.
Minister,
Many people across Europe have benefited from cohesion policy, often without realizing it. We must get the word out, but we can't do it from Brussels alone. We must rely on the engagement of member states, regions, cities, and of course, you, all of you.
thank you.